Janusz, the big game of the weekend, I think Chelsea against Liverpool. Is there any extra pressure now on Liverpool in this game after the defeat at Leicester in midweek?
Well, of course there is, right? I mean, regardless of what happened, although, I mean, the defeat is telling against Leicester City, and we knew the margins were going to be small. I think players will know that they've disappointed. I think Jurgen Klopp was very transparent and very honest in terms of saying that if we're going to play like this, we will not win the Premier League. So I think, the gauntlet has been thrown, and it is Chelsea who are themselves desperately fighting to stay in the conversation, right? Because as of late, the conversations has been Manchester City and Liverpool, because Chelsea have dropped points here and there, but they will want to say here, and that's as big a game, and as much pressure on Chelsea as it is on Liverpool, to be honest.
Are we already ruling Chelsea out of the title race, or would a defeat in this one definitely rule them out of the title race?
Yeah, look, I mean, we know, as I said, I think Manchester City are going to drop points. It's just a question of how and how many, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be defeat. Could be a couple of draws. We know this is a Premier League. We know that it's possible. It has happened to Manchester City early this season and the season before. We just know that from then on, they went from strength to strength. But you have to say that I think if a team that loses here is gonna have it difficult to catch up with Chelsea, with Manchester City, because of the quality and depth and strength. And every game I watch, with all the injuries and COVID cases, they don't seem to suffer as much. At least it seems that way to me.
Well, they've got a big quality squad, and that certainly helps. As far as the history of this fixture is concerned, the last couple of times the sides have met has been at Anfield. They've both been tight, a draw and a narrow Chelsea win. I want to take you back to, I think it was September 2020, and the last time the sides met at Stamford Bridge. It was a pretty even first half. Then Andreas Christensen got sent off, and a couple of goals from Sadio Mane within 10 minutes of the second half. And Liverpool, I suppose, run out pretty comfortable winners against the 10 men, but it just shows you that little things can decide a fixture like this.
Yeah, I think this is, I like history. I like statistics. I seem to think and always thought that the most important game is the next game, right? I mean, if we just look back, I wouldn't look that far. You just look at the maybe a little bit of a psychological advantage for Chelsea, right? The first game at Anfield, Reece James, red card, right? At halftime, 45 minutes. And Chelsea showed character and drew 1-1. So I think they'll remember that. It's going to be a battle.
I want to mention Liverpool, and with the African Cup of Nations coming up, without Salah and without Mane especially, as well as Naby Keita, their fixtures do turn. There is an FA Cup tie coming up as well. So it's not like they're going to miss that many Premier League games. And the fixtures that they will be missing look manageable without them. Does that mean, therefore, with Salah and Mane going to be unavailable for the next possibly 3 to 4 weeks, that a win is a must for Liverpool, not only because they're going to lose their two best players, but also because if City win at Arsenal, that gap could be huge.
Yeah, no, it's a must game for both. Look, I think before the season, you knew that it's going to be a massive loss. I think you and I have talked about it, many as well, right? Ahead of the season, saying that Liverpool have got to stay in touch with Manchester City and whoever else, right? I mean, Chelsea. And I think at that time, we thought that Manchester United may be in the fight for the title. They have to be close by the festive seasons, right? Because of the fact that they're going to lose Mo Salah. We knew he was going to have a great season, and he is having a great season, despite the fact that he missed a penalty. Sadio Mane, on the other hand, hasn't scored in ages. What is it, like 8-9 games now in the Premier League that he hasn't scored, but he still is an important part of Liverpool, and he will score when the time comes. So they within touch, but that Leicester City loss, it's obviously something. They were so close. They've also gotten the permission to keep those players for the Chelsea match as well, which is a massive boost for Liverpool in that. But the loss to Leicester City stings.
Let's end this one on Chelsea. I want to talk about both ends of the pitch. Over the last few weeks, they've probably conceded far too many for Thomas Tuchel's liking, after having a spell where it looked very difficult to score against them. But at the other end, Romelu Lukaku made a hell of a difference when he came back on. So it looks like they're kind of sorting things out up the scoring end of the pitch. But can they stop Liverpool from scoring with a defence that's without Ben Chilwell? Luca Digne might be coming in the January window. Thiago Silva has got problems with his hamstring. And central defensively, with Rudiger's speculation about his future, do they need to strengthen in the January transfer window in addition to a left wing back?
Oh, they may, but I don't think, we should be talking about that ahead of Liverpool. They still have enough, even if Thiago Silva is not there. Rudiger, as we said, he's going to be outstanding. He's been outstanding so far. Christensen, Azpilicueta can play there, Reece James. They're not lacking defensively. And plus, of course, they're very well organized under Thomas Tuchel as well. So that's not an issue. I mean, Liverpool is going to give you problems no matter who's out there and whoever they play against. But Leicester City showed that you can defend resolutely and you can still cause Liverpool problems. Chelsea are very much capable of doing that to Liverpool as well. So when you withstand the initial pressure from Liverpool, I think Chelsea will be okay going into this match. As we come into the new season, yes, perhaps they're going to look at somebody because the contractual issues they have with Christensen, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger for that matter. So, but I think we'll have to wait, and they have enough to cope with Liverpool, I suppose.
Okay. Chelsea-Liverpool this weekend, if it's half as good and half as intense as the Anfield meeting earlier in the season, we are in for a treat in the new year.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.